Imagine waking up to a world where every step you take, every decision you make, is already orchestrated by people you'll never meet. Their names aren't on billboards, their faces aren't on magazine covers, but their influence shapes everything from the price of your groceries to the headlines you read. According to Andrew Tate, this isn't just the plot of a dystopian novel. It's the reality we're living in. And it's no accident. It's by design. The elites, as Tate argues, are not just getting richer. They're doing so by systematically tearing at the very fabric of society. If you've ever felt like the game is rigged, that no matter how hard you work the rules seem to keep changing, you're not alone. Tate pulls back the curtain on the machinery grinding beneath our feet, exposing how those at the top rig the system, not only to hoard wealth, but to ensure you stay exactly where you are. In this article, we'll break down his claims, explore the mechanisms of control, and ask the hard questions. Who are these elites? How do they keep getting richer? And what does their systematic destruction of society really mean for the rest of us? Andrew Tate is known for his controversial takes, but one of his most compelling narratives is about the unseen hands guiding our society. According to Tate, the world isn't governed by politicians or celebrities. Instead, a shadowy class of elites, wealthy families, corporate magnates, and those with old money, pull the strings from behind the scenes. He claims these individuals sit atop global institutions, banks, multinational conglomerates, media houses, and even educational systems. Their names are rarely uttered in the news, and when they are, it's often sanitized. Their power is generational, their wealth compounding exponentially with each passing decade. But controlling vast sums of money is enough. Real power, says Tate, lies in shaping the thought and behaviors of billions. Tate's core argument is that the elite strategy is as old as civilization itself. Divide, distract, and conquer. Unity is the greatest threat to the elite's dominance. Throughout history, revolutions and social upheaval have always been sparked when ordinary people banded together. To prevent this, Tate suggests that the elites manufacture division, racial, political, economic, and even gender-based. We see this in the endless culture wars played out on social media and television. One day it's left versus right. The next, it's men versus women, rich versus poor, or young versus old. By keeping society fractured, the elites ensure that people are too busy fighting each other to ever challenge those at the top. Tate often references the Roman principle of bread and circuses, keeping the population fed and entertained to prevent dissent. In the modern age, distractions are everywhere. Reality TV, viral challenges, endless scrolling, celebrity gossip, sports, and streaming services. While the average person is consumed by the latest Netflix series or Twitter feud, the real decisions shaping our world happen in quiet boardrooms. Important issues, economic policy, privacy rights, environmental destruction, are drowned out by an endless stream of trivial content. The more distracted we are, the less likely we are to notice the erosion of our rights or the consolidation of wealth. According to Tate, the modern world is built on a subtle, yet powerful, form of economic slavery. Most people, he claims, are born into a system designed to keep them dependent. The 9-to-5 grind, student loans, credit card debt, and the constant pressure to consume all ensure that people are always chasing the next paycheck, with little time or energy left to question the system. Meanwhile, those at the top leverage their wealth to create more wealth through investments, tax loopholes, and global networks. The rich get richer even as wages stagnate and the cost of living rises for everyone else. Tate argues that the elite's most potent tools aren't physical weapons, but psychological and systemic. Let's break down some of the key mechanisms he highlights. Nearly all major media outlets are owned by just a handful of conglomerates. This concentration of power means that narratives can be shaped, stories can be buried, and dissenting voices can be silenced. Tate points to the way certain topics are promoted or ignored, and how public opinion is subtly steered in directions that benefit those in power. Sensationalism replaces substance. Critical thinking is replaced by outrage, and through algorithms that reward engagement, often through negative emotions, social media platforms amplify division and distraction. Education, in Tate's view, isn't about empowering individuals to think for themselves. It's about creating obedient workers. The traditional curriculum is designed to produce compliant employees rather than independent thinkers or entrepreneurs. Financial literacy, negotiation, and critical thinking are rarely taught, while regurgitating facts and following orders are rewarded. For Tate, this is no accident. By keeping people uninformed about how money and power really work, the elites ensure that the vast majority will never threaten their position. From student loans to mortgages, debt is one of the primary ways elites maintain control. A person in debt is a person who can't afford to take risks, speak out, or walk away from a bad job. Tate points out that the average person spends decades paying off debts, while the interest payments funnel money upward to banks and investors. The system is rigged so that escaping this cycle is incredibly difficult. Opportunities for true financial freedom, investment knowledge, entrepreneurship, access to capital are often gatekept or reserved for those already in the know. Tate's most provocative claim is that the destruction of society isn't a side effect, it's the goal. Why? Because a strong, united, and morally grounded society is a threat to elite power. Here's how he says it's being dismantled. Strong families create strong communities. Historically, the family unit has been the foundation of social stability and resistance to tyranny. Tate argues that the elites actively undermine this through policies and cultural messaging that devalue traditional family roles, promote isolation, and encourage conflict between generations and genders. The result? People become more reliant on state and corporate structures for support, further consolidating elite control. Tate claims that the deliberate promotion of nihilism, hedonism, and cynicism serves to weaken the moral backbone of society. When people no longer believe in higher values or shared ideals, they become easier to manipulate and control. This isn't just about religion. It's about eroding any sense of purpose beyond consumption and self-gratification. The more atomized and demoralized society becomes, the less likely people are to organize or resist. Welfare systems, while necessary for those in need, can also be weaponized to create dependence. Tate warns that when people become reliant on the state for survival, they lose the incentive and often the ability to be self-sufficient. This dependence can be manipulated, with benefits tied to compliance and dissent punished through withdrawal of support. Perhaps the most insidious trick, according to Tate, is the illusion that things are getting better for everyone. GDP rises, technology advances, and new opportunities appear to spring up everywhere. But the reality, he claims, is more complex. While some see their fortunes rise, the wealth gap continues to grow. For every tech billionaire, there are millions struggling to make ends meet. The cost of housing, healthcare, and education skyrockets, while real wages stagnate. The middle class shrinks and social mobility becomes a myth. Progress is uneven, and often it's those at the top who benefit most, while the majority are left with little more than shiny distractions and mounting debt. Tate's message isn't all doom and gloom. He believed that awareness is the first step toward change. By recognizing the mechanisms of control, individuals can begin to free themselves from the system's grip. He advocates for entrepreneurship, building your own sources of income, rather than relying on jobs controlled by others. Financial literacy, learning how money works, how to invest, and how to avoid debt traps. Community building, forming strong, supportive networks outside of mainstream structures. Critical thinking, questioning narratives, seeking out independent information, and refusing to be manipulated by sensationalism. Tate's critics argue that his solutions are overly individualistic and sometimes dismiss the structural challenges that ordinary people face. But even if you disagree with his conclusions, his critique of elite power and its corrosive effect on society raises important questions. The idea that shadowy elites systematically destroy society for their own benefit is a narrative as old as civilization. Yet, in an age of unprecedented wealth disparity and technological control, it resonates more than ever. Whether you see Tate as a provocateur, a truth teller, or something between, his warnings deserve attention. The world is changing fast, but the rules of power remain the same. Those who control information, institutions, and money will always seek to protect and expand their interests. The challenge for the rest of us is to see through the distractions, resist the divisions, and build new systems of empowerment from the ground up. The question isn't whether the elites are getting richer. It's how long we'll allow them to do so at the expense of everything else. The first step is to wake up, Look beyond the surface and start asking the questions that matter. Will we keep playing by their rules? Or will